Alright, what's up yins guys? Time for another video, and this one I'm hoping it don't turn into a 30, 40, or 50 or 60 minute long video. I'm going to try to just come right out with saying this. It's a couple subjects rolled in one, not to jump subjects, but every time I think about this one, it gives me the widest smirk. You'd have to bear with me. First of all, I'm going to have a couple subjects I'm going to bring up. It's going to be okay that I'm going to bring up but not talk about in the whole video. But yeah, one of it is why I don't care about anything Star Wars coming from Disney, and why when I saw the Star Wars trilogy it was good enough as a kid. It had its time, and anything beyond the Star Wars trilogy I really honestly don't care about. But I'm going to also tell you why, even when Star Wars had its time, I'm going to bring the Chronicles of Riddick into it, and why Chronicles of Riddick really beats out Star Wars, or at the very least, like I said, the trilogy had its time, but it beats out anything that Disney did with Star Wars because of its haunting and dark scenarios, backdrops, and overtones, and I'm not, but I'm not gonna go make this video about how bad Star Wars is, because there's plenty of videos about that, especially in YouTube channel I look at called Clownfish TV, about how bad Star Wars is. But I'm gonna establish that, and I'm gonna try to say why the Chronicles of Riddick really added to my imagination, because I'm gonna bring you up some influences, not without talking religion. I don't want to say, make this about of how I hate any religion, or but anyway, yeah, I got us to bear with me how it gave me the widest smirk on my face. Okay, I'll talk about the background. Okay, I grew up with the original Battlestar Galactica and Star Wars trilogy, but the Chronicles of Riddick really beats out Star Wars. What it did for me, as far as put a real wide smirk on my face, as far as a household where, okay, I have Christianity and Catholicism in my background. I'll say how I hate religion. I'm not going to rant about all that, but how I embrace so many mixtures of beliefs under certain terms and circumstances. Okay, and I'm going to put in the list too, without jumping subjects, that not to bring up any of my past households or parents or relatives. But yeah, I had Christianity in me and dysfunctional household, right? But I had a mother that screams, swears, and chain smokes. This is not to bash her. That also subscribed to the Left Behind religions, who was also frustrated and had a like-hate relationship with church. Was always into the Bible, fanatical, but yet present religion down your throat her way in the Bible, and subscribe to the Left Behind in movies as if the apocalypse, they're like, and other kind of people too, even YouTube Christians, who think that them Left Behind movies and Left Behind novels are like that, the apocalypse is really going to go down like that. Anyway, part of that is, well, some Christians might be some of them that look like me or have similar beliefs to me might be like saying, yep, and then there might be some Christians that I might be pissing off, says, oh, that's unbiblical, you can't say that. Oh, what do you believe in ancient aliens? Well, I watched Ancient Aliens before for the entertainment, and I'm just trying to say, if you had a background like that, and if you got this far in a video, how I'm getting this out, bringing a coherent group of sentences together, it just, the reason why it puts a wide smirk on my face, not doing a video to hate on my mother or any relatives. I'm not telling you to do that. And I bring up my mother in that thing. You know, you have a family member that will put religion on your throat and the Bible, but scream, swear, and chain smoke. that I haven't abandoned religion completely, but if some people want to talk about spiritual things while they smoke and drink, and a good way to swear a little bit black or white, I'm with them. But anyway, the Chronicles of Riddick, when I first put the movie on, it scared the, I want to say it scared the shit out of my mother, one particular scene. And I want to, if you got this far in this video, maybe you, anybody that doesn't even like me watching this video, maybe some of you may have a wide smirk on your face if you had a scenario like this, right? Not being taught to hate on a parent or anything. But I have a smirk on my face. I'd say, oh, it's just a movie, you know, and worry about biblical correctness. Oh, the Bible says that can't happen or whatever, or not saying I subscribe to ancient aliens. But I'm going to say, well, I'm getting to also my influences, the things I've read that, not just ancient aliens. The Books of Enoch, which I read through a lot, and I've watched YouTube videos, different people's take on the Books of Enoch. Not everybody that reads Enoch thinks, you know, gods and fallen angels come from space, but anyway, I kind of got this idea why I have these speculations why the Chronicles of Riddick, parts of the scenes might have scared the hell out of my mother. Oh, that movie's awful, turn that stuff off. Why did they, well, if that's science fiction, it's just a movie, not a documentary, why it scares them. And there are some Christians, if you have a little bit of beliefs, and they entertain some beliefs other than demons just being inside a hell inside the earth, which in a separate note, different people believe in angels and demons, and Arabian Muslim cultures and called them jinn. And then you had Native American, like, things that lived and come out of the earth, or different things too. I'm just talking about that, but an example here. But okay, I'm just trying to roll this stuff into one here. And since I've read things like the Books of Enoch and other kind of things on YouTube and other kind of beliefs, and if you got this far in this video about, okay, how the Chronicles of Riddick have added to my imagination, if you're one of those people that before you even looked up all the details about the writers, the people who created the Chronicles of Riddick, without, or any science fiction or any kind of thing, did you ever have fun in a sense that it reminded you of, added to your imagination, and thinking it's fun to speculate before you go and look up all the correct details about the writers and what they were influenced by creating the Chronicles of Riddick? And the reason why I'm getting back to how it scared the hell out of my mother, and maybe it scared the hell out of certain of your parents too, because yeah, I hold on to some Christianity, and if you're Christian and you think maybe some bad angels may have come from space and they weren't all in hell or in the earth, I'm not telling you to believe all the stuff about ancient aliens. Maybe you watched it, but okay, the Chronicles of Riddick added to that imagination, even though they weren't intending to, and say you, before you even went to, like I said, fun to speculate. You go ahead, it's okay to speculate, and then look at the correct information about the writers of the Chronicles of Riddick. But yes, it reminded me of, adds to the imagination that from the very intro of the movie, what scared the crap out of my mother was the scene where we are a people of all religions and all faiths, and we will absolutely, positively not be converted, and then the Lord Marshal goes, then I'll take your soul. That scared, why the hell did that, even though it's just a movie, scared the hell out of my mother, not to bash her, but I don't know, the movie added to the imagination. If you believed in the angels of Enoch, and you would have to be reading the lines and speculate things in your own if you read the Angels of Enoch about Titans. And there are people with beliefs that bad angels or fallen angels or other beings, rebel beings, beings of like darkness that thrive on dark energy came from space and not so completely thrown into or come out of hell. There was some, like maybe King James Bible things say they come out of, but there's a lot of Christians that believe extra things, like some people on YouTube. I'll say some of it's okay, but adding to your imagination for the fun, the Chronicles of Riddick, everything down to the special effects kind of gave you that eerie scariness about it, which a movie should, and that's why it beat out Star Wars. I mean, like I said, the Star Wars trilogy, and I don't care anything about anything Star Wars Disney created. Respect for the Star Wars trilogy that I saw as a kid, but come on. Then if you got more of this video, the Necromongers will kind of scare you or make you say, whoa. Not that you like bad guys or you like devils or anything, but the Necromongers had armor. They were scary, and they were like, when they moved, like whoop whoop, like a dark energy throwing through them, and it can just with no effort move real fast, and there's a dark aura around them, and the special effects that they created at. And since they wore armor, it kind of adds to your imagination, like I said, before you even look at the original writer, or what he was influenced, the writer of Chronicles of Riddick, or writers. That anyway, the Necromongers kind of reminded you of, okay, you know how people in drawings, and even modern drawings now, will have blonde angels, good angels in this armor, all blonde-haired, and they have armor and swords. It adds to your imagination that what if not all... There are some beliefs that people did have like this, that they weren't all these bad angels. Like, you read about the NEPHILIM, right? That they weren't all... Yes, you had... Yeah, they were Titans, and all the story about the NEPHILIM, how they were thrown down, some were killed in the floods. But there was beliefs in bad angels, so to speak, that, I don't know, the Chronicle of Riddick would be making you wonder, oh, what if some of them people with those beliefs that fallen angels or bad angels with dark auras around them actually weren't really in hell on earth? Like I said, you had angels, demons coming in and out of the earth. I read the Testament of Solomon, and yes, the Arabs and Muslim people called them jinn, and all different shapeshifters. Arabs called them jinn, and Native Americans, looked at a lot of Native American stuff on YouTube, that the Native Americans, maybe they've seen some things, and that they might have really seen. And well, even if you're even black folk, you know, things that originated in Africa, you can look things up later. But anyway, back to the Necromongers, they wore this armor. They were fast and strong, and if you looked at the scenes, that they like... Anyway, if you entertain the idea that any fallen angels came from space somehow, and you don't necessarily think they're no gray aliens, and maybe they were bad angels, hey, adds to that imagination that they wore armor and dark aura around them. And the one scene where the one Necromonger, Varco, almost disarmed Varco, jumped him, and so to speak, and tried to grab his gun, but Varco grabbed him right over his head and did a big backbreaker on him. And not that you're saying, yay, you love villains and want to smash up bad guys, but the idea that maybe you can have some... I think any kind of fictitious idea or representation or a proposition of that sort, even though it's fictitious, scares the shit out of some biblical Christians and some atheists. Well, atheists, they vary. You can say, oh, it's just science fiction. And an atheist might be going, some atheists might be going, oh, you looked at ancient aliens, oh, you believe in it, you read that Testament of Solomon crap, and you looked at that, you read that Enoch crap, there's no entities, there's nothing, no yada yada. But then some of them, they can, some of them probably watch science fiction too, but I'm saying, maybe some Christians in some cases, like, in my example, not to bash my mother or anybody, that I'm trying to give you an example, if you got this far in this video, that if you had a relative or family member that a scene in that or the dark overtones of that actually scared them, whether they were one of those just over-condescending biblical Christians, or maybe some people, hey, maybe you're looking at a video and you don't like me, and you may have had family members that will preach biblically correct things, King James Bible correct things to you, and at the same time scream, swear, and chain smoke, which I regard as normal. Like I did say too, not to totally bash anybody. I've talked to people both black and white that look like me, and black folk who will explore spiritual things. Hey, some of them drink and smoking, they swear a little bit, that want to freely look into and talk about these certain things without evangelizing, but things that add to the imagination. They don't want religion or belief shoved down their throat, or anybody tell them, oh, you believe in that ancient alien stuff, or you believe in the angels Enoch stuff, Testament Solomon, or what are you looking at? Yeah, you must be dabbling in voodoo, black magic, blah blah blah, or whatever. You know, they don't want nothing forced down their throat, but they want the freedom to, even though some of them smoke, drink, and swear, and you may have had dysfunctional relatives that are biblically correct, that scream, swear, and chain smoke, and all these things I'll regard as normal in a sense. You know what I mean? I guess it represents a part of your freedoms, and if you, some of my speculations before I end this video, I think some of them, whether it's the domesticated, okay, whether you talk about the overly domesticated Christian who thinks all that stuff in the Left Behind movies, the apocalypse, think that's all real. Or if you, well, and like I says, my case, I lived in a household where people scream, swear, and chain smoke, and also are biblically correct, and also, while they scream, swear, and chain smoke, also think the Left Behind movies, that the apocalypse is going to go down that way, But I'll end this to say, you know, what if you read anything about fallen angels, good angels, bad angels, and say some of them had a dark aura around them, and what if you had a rival groups that were angels of light that didn't get along, and but anyway, the Chronicles of Riddick kind of reminded me of, because they wore armor, and it reminded me of those other beliefs and speculations, people's versions of beliefs, that thinking that bad angels or fallen spirits actually came from space, and say God was here, but then another part of the universe over here way out, these other ones had their own kingdom or whatever. And like I said in the Chronicles of Riddick, a dark constellation of star system over here, instead of the underworld, the Underverse. I mean, if you look it up, there were beliefs that people had, these beliefs that bad angels or these spirits come from space. I mean, apart from the Ancient Aliens TV show, but But anyway, to end this, that is why the Chronicles of Riddick impressed me way more than Star Wars. And why I don't care about Star Wars. And I don't care about no Star Wars movies that came after the original trilogy. I watched a couple of them. Not fanatically into them, and I don't care about them. And when Chronicles of Riddick came along, it created thoughts going on in my head, along with scaring the hell out of my mother scenes from it. And I'm like, oh, it put a ear-to-ear smirk on my face, in a sense. And it added to my imagination, and even the bad guys were more hauntingly scary than the bad guys like Darth Vader and the dark side of the Force. Alright, Underverse was more scary and haunting and appealing than the dark side of the Force. Put it that way.